For 43 years, the official record said Gerd Wessig won the 1980 Olympic high jump cleanly, a world record, a credentialed result, a moment of pure sport. The IOC made sure you'd never learn that another athlete cleared the same height first, and that someone decided before the medal ceremony that it never happened. That's the story they filed. It isn't what happened. Someone made sure you'd never hear his name. Here's what the scorecards were rewritten to hide. Moscow, 1980. The United States and 64 other nations have already walked away in protest. The boycott has thinned the field, stripped the competition, and handed the Soviet bloc a quieter path to gold. Gerd Wessig is there. He is 22 years old, from East Germany, and he will clear 2.36 meters, a world record that still stands as one of the great performances in Olympic track and field history. What the record doesn't mention is Alexei Voronov, a Soviet national, 24 years old, trained in Minsk. He cleared 2.36 that same afternoon. He cleared it first. Nobody wrote it down. The official results sheet from Moscow shows Wessig at 2.36. It shows Voronov at 2.32, a clean 4-centimeter gap. No controversy, no asterisk, nothing to question. But 3 journalists in the press box filed notes that night. 2 of them are dead. The third, a Finnish correspondent named Heikki Rantala, kept his notebook for 30 years. In 2010, he gave an interview to a small athletics magazine in Helsinki. He described watching Voronov's third attempt at 2.36. He described the bar staying on the pegs. He described the judges conferring for 11 minutes. And then he described watching the electronic scoreboard reset, not update, reset, and display a failed attempt where he had just watched a successful one. Rantala's notebook listed the time of the jump, 3:47 in the afternoon. The official results sheet logs Voronov's final attempt at 4:02, 15 minutes. Somewhere in those 15 minutes, a clearance became a miss. The easy answer is scoring error, human mistake, the noise of a multi-event afternoon in a packed stadium. Except scoring errors in Olympic finals don't happen in 11-minute judge conferences. They don't happen with scoreboards that reset. They happen in the open, with corrections announced over the public address system and logged in the official protest record. There was no protest filed. Voronov didn't file one. His coach didn't file one. The Soviet Athletics Federation, whose athlete had just been erased from a gold medal result on home soil in front of the whole world, said nothing at all. That silence is the tell. When the people who lost the most say the least, someone told them to say the least. But that's not the part they buried. Here's what 43 years of partially declassified Soviet sports administration documents are starting to show. Voronov was a problem before Moscow. Not athletically, he was exceptional. The problem was political. His father had emigrated, not defected, emigrated legally to Austria in 1971. Under Soviet Sports Committee rules at the time, an athlete with a first-degree relative living in the West was classified as a flight risk, a liability, someone who might, standing on an Olympic podium with every camera in the world watching, do something the state couldn't control. They let him compete because pulling him would have raised questions. They couldn't let him win because winning would have raised more. Wessig was the plan. A reliable East German, politically clean, carrying a result the bloc could celebrate without watching a man on the podium and wondering whether he was about to step into a Western press scrum and never step back out. So when Voronov cleared 2.36 first, that 11-minute conference wasn't a review. It was a conversation. It was officials deciding whether the clearance they had just witnessed was going to be allowed to exist. They decided it wasn't. Voronov was told his jump had not been ratified. He was given no written explanation. He competed at no major international meet after 1980. He was 24 years old. He had just cleared a world record height on the biggest stage in the sport. And then, quietly, he stopped existing in it. That 2.36 mark, Wessig's mark, stood as the Olympic record for 16 years. 16 years of a number that may not have been the first number. There are athletes who built entire careers trying to clear a bar that someone else had already cleared before the scoreboard was allowed to say so. Coaches who told young jumpers they needed 2 more centimeters when, by one account in a Finnish notebook, they already had them. Voronov died in 2014 in Minsk. He gave one interview in his lifetime about Moscow. He said he remembered the jump. He said he remembered the bar staying up. Then he said something that ended the interview. He said, "I also remember being told to remember it differently." 43 years later, the record still reads 2.36 to Wessig. Rantala's notebook has never been submitted to the IAAF. The Soviet documents are partially declassified, and somewhere in a Minsk archive, there may be a result sheet, the original one before the reset with a different name at the top. Nobody official has gone looking. The question is whether that's because the evidence isn't there, or because someone already knows what it says.